Whenever you're ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh no, you're good. Let him get seated.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right.
Yeah.
We'd first like to begin this afternoon by thanking our hosts, the Union Club of Cleveland, for having us, and we're very excited to be here. We are Downtown Associates. I am Nick Barron. I am the Chief Operation Officer. I have with me John Bordell, our Strategic Management Officer, and our Chief Technology Officer, Bob Yeager. Unfortunately, Justin Reese was unable to make it due to personal issues with his family, so we're wishing him the best. Our company, Downtown Associates, was founded in 2012. We are comprised of 24 employees, split up into 4 research teams. Our associates have degrees in finance, accounting, computer science, hospitality, human resources, etc. We specialize in offering creative solutions to firms looking for strategic and financial analyses, organizational analyses, mergers and acquisitions, and risk management. Before we begin, you guys have a packet in front of you. This follows pretty closely to what the presentation will say. There's a few differences just because of print versus PowerPoint, but it will follow along very well. To begin, we're going to look at our agenda. We have right here the value creation opportunity coming up. We'll have an industry competitive environment, an evaluation of options, an overview of the options. We'll offer our recommended solution, and finally, an alternative solution. To begin, we know our situation right now with Titan, and you guys being the board of directors, we're looking at Jupiter right now and how to maximize the value of Jupiter. We are given 3 interesting solutions here, which is to acquire a bull on target Lightning, to sell to a private equity firm Charger, or to remain status quo. Our goal is to take Jupiter from a high market, low growth firm company to a high market, high growth company. And given these solutions, we believe we've come up with the best recommendation on how to achieve this goal. Before we give you guys these options and solutions, we should first look at the competitive environment of the industry. We looked at the direct mail industry and we decided that looking at supplier power, it is pretty low. There are many suppliers, and the low switching costs of moving from one to another really make this a low supplier power. We looked at the threat of new entry. It is easy for firms to move into this industry, so we labeled this moderate. However, for Jupiter itself, being a higher in the market share, it would be harder for these companies to move in and compete with them. So we labeled this as moderate, though for Jupiter it's not too much of concern. The buyer power we labeled as low as well. There are many buyers, and we decided that it would be high switching costs. We assume that Jupiter has ownership over the clientele database that they're shipping out in this direct mail. This will make it harder for these companies or these clients to move companies and take that database and implement it somewhere else. The threat of substitution we labeled as high. In an age which is heavy in the digital side, you can get advertisement out in many ways. We've seen it in social media such as Facebook and Instagram, even Snapchat now. You could also get targeted digital advertisements online, such as someone searching for a certain good online, and direct advertisements being sent to the next webpage they go to. And they could also be substituted with magazines or newspapers. Finally, the competitive rivalry we decided that is moderate. There are many competitors in this, but that really is broken down into regional or even national. And again, Jupiter is at a higher level, higher market share, which makes it harder for these lower companies to really compete. Now moving on to look at the valuation process and valuations, I'm going to pass it off to John Bordell.
Thank you, Nick. So looking at the fundamental valuations here of Jupiter and Lightning, we selected 4 valuation methods for valuing Jupiter. We did an LBO analysis, leverage buyout, and this is the average figure of the spectrum. It was $663 million from Charger's point of view. That includes the debt and loan figures without synergy. We did discounted cash flow, which was valued at $472 million, which is the projected cash flows discounted in today's dollars. And then we did valuations using the EBITDA multiplier, the transaction comparison, the company comparison, and that was valued at, on average, $473 million, and that includes the 5 most similar merger transactions to this situation, and then the company comparison valued at $600 million, which includes 6 company valuations. And then for Lightning, using the same DCF process we did for Jupiter, we valued the firm at $131 million. And here's the Jupiter football field valuation ranges. One of the main things I just want to point out here is that on the low end of the valuation, the DCF and the transaction comparisons ranked up just under $400 million, and then you can see with the company comparison and the LBO values, over $700 million in valuation. And we believe that the $552 million valuation is a pretty solid valuation for Jupiter, even considering that Charter's offering $560 million. So next, the synergy valuations for Jupiter and Lightning together. With synergy, the total present value, the discounted cash flow is $703 million. That's including assumptions of cross-selling synergy at 6% in 2017, decreasing 1% annually to 2021. The decrease in cost of goods sold of 2% annually from Lightning's technology synergy. Tax savings is $16 million over the next 5 years, assuming the value of Lightning technology is $40 million and used over the next 5 years. And then Lightning, with the synergy, the total present value of the discounted cash flow is $173 million, assuming in calculating net working capital, we use percentage from the Jupiter balance sheet in the comparison to sales. And then the total cost of the Lightning acquisition for Jupiter to buy Lightning and participate in this synergy be $195.3 million. And that's assuming the transactional fees of $2.3 million and a loan fee of $1 million. And if you look at that, the $195.3 million versus the value of the valuation of synergy of $173 million, we believe that that difference there is because of synergies in Jupiter that we can't exactly identify. I believe that's what makes up the difference. Next here is a graphical display here showing proportional comparison between the valuations of the 3 alternatives. So here we have the synergy valued at $876 million, and that's the total present value, which is $316 million over the Charger offer of $560 million, and then $187 more than the value of both Lightning and Jupiter without the synergy. So it's kind of clear here to see with these valuations that doing the synergy is going to gain you the most value for Titan shareholders. At $876 million, it's clear that it is going to create most value for you to participate in the synergy, reject the Charger offer, and go forth with that process. So a little bit more about why we think that you should acquire Lightning. Here's a pros and cons listing of each of the alternatives. So for the pros, as I just said, the valuations forecast a highly accretive synergy at $876 million, and also fulfills the CEO's desire for a legacy business. Jupiter and Lightning are healthy and profitable. In our appendix, we have financial ratios that kind of display that. And then the cons for acquiring Lightning is that it is an investment risk. From a mergers and acquisitions perspective, buying is always going to be harder than selling. So you're always going to take on risk when participating in a merger where you are buying a company because the future is uncertain. Another con is that you cannot sell to Charger. Part of the agreement is that if you buy Lightning, you cannot sell the synergy to Charger, so you lose out on the opportunity of that deal. The next option is to sell Jupiter to Charger. The pros of that is it's more risk adverse than the synergy, because from a selling perspective, that's easier to participate in than a buying perspective, because you know the terms and you know how much money you're going to get for the company. Also, segue, Titan being a venture capitalist firm in this industry, and having Jupiter being in the mature stage of the business life cycle, it would be smart possibly for them to let Jupiter go to a private equity firm that could use their vast resources and capabilities to get the growth that Jupiter has potential to receive. And then also from the sale, of course, get the $560 million, builds capital in the company, it gives you the opportunity to possibly invest in other sustainable business opportunities. The cost is that we estimate $121 million in potential opportunity costs, and that the biggest problem, I think, with selling to Jupiter is that it's dilutive. You're going to have negative competitive implications because Jupiter participates in the same business that Titan does, of course, but Charger also participates in the same industry that you guys do too. So if you sell the company to Charger, then they could possibly compete against the companies that you have in your company. So, you know, we may value this transaction of selling Jupiter to Charger at $560 million. That might be realized much less when you see the competitive implications of that in the future, long term.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by it being dilutive?
That by selling Jupiter to Charger, they are going to take that market share with them. So if you're still in the direct mail industry and Titan has other companies in this industry, that's going to pull competition away from them. So it is not going to, it's going to subtract value. It's not going to add value to your industry and your portfolio by selling the company, is kind of our understanding. Status quo, you can just keep Jupiter as it is. The pros, it's the most risk-averse situation. By not buying or selling, you're not participating in the risk that is mergers and acquisitions. And the cons are estimated $187 million in potential opportunity costs by not merging with the bolt-on.
Can I ask, under pros for sell Jupiter, segue?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So basically the idea is that as a venture capitalist firm with Titan, it's in the maturity stage. Jupiter is in the maturity stage of a business life cycle. So normally at this point in time, the strategic implications is that it would be normal for a mature growth company to be sold to a private equity firm in this situation. And that process is called segue, because you can segue the business to a private equity firm that can give it the strategic implications or the strategic value that they have, where it's more common for a firm like Titan to buy and sell smaller entrepreneurial firms, and then once they reach the mature growth, you sell them. That process
So
is
you
called
would say
segue.
I could segue from being currently Jupiter into buying Lightning. That's a segueing into a higher growth and a different type of business, meaning I'm acquiring as opposed to status quo.
Right.
I'm not putting words in it, I'm just asking.
Can you rephrase that, please?
Segue to me means you're moving from one thing to another, which I think is what you described.
Right.
Jupiter to Charger, for example. We're segueing by doing the same old thing if Jupiter buys Lightning.
Right. I guess that's a good perspective to look at
it.
it.
Is or isn't. I'm just trying to understand that. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay. So our recommended strategy, to maximize Titan shareholder value, first acquire Lightning for the $195 million included in the deal with the terms. Integrate the Lightning bundling technology across Jupiter operations. Assuming Jupiter and Lightning databases are compatible, it should be easy to integrate these processes and it should accelerate your growth. And then you should keep an eye on the growth throughout this entire process. Obviously you want to know that the strategy is actually working, that is moving from a high market share, low growth company to a high market share, high growth company. And then after that, investigate new synergistic opportunities. Once that growth starts to mature, try to acquire new companies, new resources and capabilities that will allow you to sustain that growth and maximize shareholder value. And then after 5 years or so, you can sell if the growth plateaus, and then with the money gained from the sell, you can use the capital to buy another legacy business that can provide you sustainable growth opportunities. And next we're going to talk about an alternative strategy with Bob.
All right. We didn't want to just provide you one single option. So besides the option that we think is the best, we came up with an alternative strategy, and that would be for you to sell Jupiter to Charger, but buy Lightning on its own. Right now, Lightning is in a low market share and high growth area. We believe that utilizing the information that Titan has, that it can be moved to a high market share, high growth company, and it would probably maintain that area for quite a few years. The way to do this is the 5-year planning strategy for this would be first to sell Jupiter to Charger for the $560 million. After that transaction has completed, you would turn around and buy Lightning. Then over the next couple of years, you're going to grow Lightning so that it possibly looks very much like like Jupiter used to look. At the end of the 5-year period, you want to take a look at the growth of Lightning. If it is continuing to grow, then you're just going to keep that company and make it part of that legacy that the owner wants. If it's plateaued out, then the best thing would be to sell that company and then possibly buy another company and repeat this process over again. But, yes.
Have you guys thought through the non-competition implications of that strategy? Typically, when you're going to sell out of Jupiter, you're going to be subject to some non-competition requirements that would potentially prohibit you from then going out and buying Lightning and repeating what you did with Jupiter.
No, actually, we did not think about that. Tell you the truth, no. Okay. So that's just an alternative. We still believe that the best option for you is to retain Jupiter, to purchase Lightning, and combine those into a single business unit. Because overall, if you take a look at the gains from the different manners that we can put these companies together, the best thing, the most money you're going to make is by combining Jupiter and Lightning and working forward with it from that point. So, yes.
One question. So you talked about Lightning being high growth rate, and I know they've got some technology that we're interested in potentially.
Correct.
That might lead to some opportunities with our current customer base to cross-sell and maybe enhance our own revenue growth rate.
Right.
But would you consider them a high growth company?
Well, I think based on the information that we were provided, considering that if you gain Lightning, you're going to increase by an additional 6%. Yeah, we consider this to be sort of high growth.
I'm just looking at your standalone financials here. We've got 14 growth of less than 2%, 15 of 3%, 16 2%, and you're forecasting 2% growth going forward.
Compared to Jupiter, which is double
5%,
digits.
yeah.
Right.
So I guess I want to make sure that I understand what you think of Lightning. I mean, clearly I get the synergy part of it and how it might enhance our growth with
Right.
Jupiter, but Lightning's core business doesn't seem to be growing that fast. I'm just wondering do you think management is just underperforming what the technology should allow them to do, or and Ian, how does that factor into your excitement about Lightning? Because 2% growth is really anemic.
That's true. That's true. But I think what we came up with is just because of the fact that with the information we provided, it says that if you combine these two companies, you're going to gain an additional 6%. To me, that tells me that there's something really there with Lightning that's going to help it. And Titan, a company who knows how to utilize these companies, could probably take this company and just go crazy with it. That's why I believe that it's that high growth rate.
I think it's really good to note as well the technology. I think we estimated about 40 million savings for Titan with that technology. However, there's also the database implementation. Jupiter would not be looking at Lightning unless the databases of the clientele integrated compatibly, and that will accelerate the growth as well. I think looking at these issues, and again, that technology included, really spikes Lightning's value to Jupiter, including the fact that they are all along the West Coast, which includes Los Angeles, we are assuming, as well as New York and Chicago, major markets and major clientele.
Okay. And so then, any more questions? Yeah.
So I'm just curious, I like that you presented another alternative. I thought that was sort of a clever solution for us. As we think about building, if we go with a plan where we're going to actually add Lightning to the core business, do you think in the future when we all are ready to kind of check out and retire, do you think that it'll be worth more or less than it's worth today in terms of that multiple that we might get when we sell that business?
Well, I believe all of us believe it's going to be worth a lot more, just based on the fact that it's got some proprietary programs that it uses. And our biggest thing that when we discuss this, our biggest thing is that we believe that Titan itself takes these companies and turns them around and turns them into very well managed and high growth rate companies. And you've got this company Lightning, who seems to be, from what we gather, they just seem to be a company that is waiting for somebody to take them and move them forward. And I think that Titan could probably do that. They have all this, they seem to have what they need to become a very large player in the industry. based on what we can see from from the case study.
If I could add to that,
Yeah.
I think that with the technology, that the direct mail bundling technology that Lightning has, if that can create a sustainable competitive advantage for the synergy, I think that is going to be what truly perpetuates your growth. Now, if that isn't some industry secret and that technology is spread throughout, the market share of the companies, then you might not see as good of returns. I guess that, to me, I think that's the central risk factor in it, that how long can you sustain that competitive advantage with that technology? And I think that from a strategic standpoint, that is like the key element of the understanding.
Well, I think the question of Corey's question is, we're paying 11 times theoretically, right, to acquire it. Do you think someone pays us 11 times 5 years from now when we talk about this again, or is it a higher multiple, a lower multiple? How do you see that shaking out?
I think market conditions in the future, in a bull market, in a industry such as this, that is, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I can't foresee an event that would destroy this company's profitability. So I think that you would see high returns in the future on the company.
It may not be 11 times. That's what the offer is now, right? 11 times. But I do believe it's going to be pretty large. And with the growth rate year after year, I think it's going to end up, Lightning could easily end up with as a company that outpaces Jupiter.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.